What time is it, JMO? It's Wellness Nerd Out time. How you guys doing? Happy When Wellness Nerd Out time, you guys. The best part of the whole day. So today we are going to be talking about magnesium, and we're actually going to devote a few days to our discussion on magnesium because there's so much that we have to talk about. But today we're going to kind of go through some general benefits. We're going to go through some dosage, different forms, and some food sources. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the good stuff. Now, when we talk about magnesium, very interesting. Well, of course, it is an essential mineral that we have to get through the diet as our body, or supplementation, as our body does not naturally produce magnesium, right? And again, it plays a wide range of important roles throughout the body, so it is very important to make sure we are getting enough of it. All right, and we'll talk about how much is enough here in a minute. But what are some things that it does right off the bat? Well, magnesium, when we supplement with it, actually, it has more of a sedative effect. And, this both cognitively, in the sense that it prevents neural hyperactivity. So it's, commonly given to people with ADHD. It can be very helpful, right, to help keep that brain from racing and being all over the place. And it even lowers blood pressure, all right? So when we think of magnesium, we think of cool and chill and just, relaxed type sedative effect once again. On top of those benefits with magnesium, or I should say effects as well, we get increased insulin or improved insulin sensitivity with magnesium supplementation. And so, we could see that if we have a deficiency, this could lead to insulin resistance or a decrease in insulin sensitivity, right? So on top of that, it's even been shown, has magnesium, to be beneficial for people with depression. So it has antidepressant qualities as well, you guys. Great stuff, absolutely great stuff. So when we talk about a deficiency of magnesium, well, it's different than a lot of the other vitamins and minerals we've talked about, or supplements in general here at When Wellness, because when we usually say there's a deficiency being more common, it's in third world countries, it's in underdeveloped countries, right? But when we talk about magnesium, thank you for tuning in, we'll get to you in a second, guys. When we talk about magnesium, we actually get a deficiency in first world countries, not too uncommonly, all right? And the reason magnesium deficiency is somewhat common in countries like the United States and other developed countries is because we rely heavily on grain-based foods, all right? And, this high-carb diet, grain-based diet, there's almost no magnesium in grains like that, right? So, there are a few exceptions, but for the vast majority of them, we don't get much magnesium from grains. And so, foods that are commonly neglected in countries, again, like the United States and other first world and developed countries, are dark leafy greens, or are nuts and seeds, things like that, that real healthy good stuff that, sometimes people don't think tastes the best. Well, I think tastes great, but, to each their own. You're definitely not getting it in fast food for the most part, people. So make sure you get all those good foods. We're going to talk about them at the end, all right? But what would happen then if we had a magnesium deficiency in terms of its effect on us? Well, we said that supplementation with magnesium has that sedative effect. So it is no surprise that if we had a deficiency in magnesium, well, then we would get some neural hyperactivity, right? That brain racing, that neural excitation, excessively, that, we obviously would not want. On top of that, high blood pressure, you can get with magnesium deficiency and decreased insulin sensitivity, all of which are big things. And again, these are just a few of the big players here. We're talking about some of the heavy hitters today, but tomorrow we're going to be talking about magnesium and how it's involved in bone health and why it's a primary fantastic supplement for improving your bone health. But again, today we're going to keep it more general. All right. So when we talk about the dosage of magnesium, well, 200 to 400 milligrams covers really every just about demographic. All right. It is different for different ages and demographics, but in general, but 200 to 400 milligrams is that whole big picture dosage range for an entire day of magnesium. All right. And when we talk about sources, well, one, you should take your magnesium with food to avoid digestive issues, because we didn't say this before. I'll say this before I continue. If you take too much, we talked about a deficiency. What happens if you take too much magnesium? Well, too much of anything isn't good, as we always say here at When Wellness, right? But with magnesium, it's interesting because if you have too much, really there aren't that many very serious side effects. Usually we talk about more serious adverse and deleterious side effects with, having excessive amounts of these minerals or vitamins and things like that. But with magnesium, really, you just get GI distress, so gastrointestinal distress, upset stomach type thing, and diarrhea, all right? Because whatever your body can't absorb is just going to excrete, all right? So, yeah, nobody wants those things, but, there are more serious side effects with other things, so that's another plus with magnesium. Even if you take a little bit too much, you're just going to go to the bathroom a lot, so, you'll live. When we talk about the forms of magnesium, again, now when you're taking this 200 to 400 milligram dosage per day of magnesium, you should have it with food, and split up the doses a little bit. You don't need all of it at once, right? As we say with pretty much every supplement or vitamin or mineral that we talk about. And number one is magnesium citrate. All right, that's the number one recommended form in general to supplement with. Again, magnesium citrate. Now, one you might want to stay away from is magnesium L-threonate. There are a few, but magnesium L-threonate, and it's not our top choice because it has the lowest amount of magnesium per dose of any form. All right, so you would need more of it. But magnesium L-threonate is good if you're trying to get this cognitive enhancement effect from magnesium. All right, if you're trying to improve cognition, all right, which, that's another benefit, of course, but we'll devote a whole day to magnesium in the brain and things like that, and its cognitive effects in general. But again, if you're looking for just regular supplementation, magnesium citrate. And if you're looking for purely the cognitive benefit, the cognitive enhancement, then it's magnesium L-threonate. But it does have the lowest amount of magnesium per dose. All right. Some other forms we could talk about here. Magnesium oxide and magnesium chloride are both associated with a higher risk of GI distress. So we talked about those symptoms of having too much, right? And if with being gastrointestinal, issues, upset stomach and diarrhea, and you're more likely to suffer those adverse side effects if you take magnesium chloride or magnesium oxide, once again. Now, if somebody were to, it's not per se recommended, but if there was a reason, that you were going to superload, take a lot, it means, right, of magnesium, then magnesium diglycinate is one, and magnesium gluconate is another one that you would want to take if you were superloading. So whether it's because of a certain condition or pathology, where you have very low levels of magnesium, or just for some other benefits you're looking for that you've talked with your doctor about, then those are two good forms, magnesium gluconate or magnesium diglycinate, once again, that you'd want to take. So when we talk about food sources, because we always want to get it from the food first, right? Just about always. We've talked about a couple exceptions here at Wend Wellness, but when we I think Mucuna pruriens was one that we talked about. Velvet bean, that was an exception, because when you cook it, you actually destroy the L-dopa in it. But whole nother day, if you want to check it out, go back. And when we talk about food sources for magnesium, at least some that are very high in magnesium, well, top the table is spinach. And 1 cup of cooked spinach contains 157 milligrams of magnesium. That's a lot. We said our daily dose of magnesium is 200 to 400 milligrams. So just 1 cup of cooked spinach, again, provides 157 milligrams of magnesium. So a lot in spinach, baby. On top of that, other dark leafy greens like Swiss chard and kale also contain high amounts of magnesium, not quite as high as spinach, but high amounts. And what contains just about the same amount of magnesium, very close, are squash and pumpkin seeds. And I mean, just as much and very close to spinach, of course, because squash and pumpkin seeds, that is 1 ounce, or 1 ounce handful of, however big that ends up being based on their densities, of squash seeds and pumpkin seeds, contains 156 milligrams of magnesium. So they're not quite top the table, but they're 1 milligram off of spinach. So they're pretty much right up there. So get your spinach, get your squash seeds and your pumpkin seeds. Now, aside from those seeds, we have hemp seeds, flax seeds, and chia seeds being some other great sources of magnesium, but again, not quite as high as pumpkin seeds or squash seeds. On top of that, we've got tuna being a good source of magnesium, dark chocolate with a minimum of 85% cocoa, right? We want that higher percent cocoa, or cacao, we could say, in dark chocolate, right? To get the most benefits out of it nutritionally. And it is the same when we talk about magnesium as it was when we talked about theobromine content. If you were with us for our discussion on theobromine way back here at Wend Wellness, dark chocolate is some pretty good stuff if it's very dark, and again has a very high percent of cocoa. So in terms of magnesium, 85% or more on the cocoa. On top of dark chocolate, you've got bananas, low-fat yogurt, brown rice, avocados are another one, and lima beans are pretty high in magnesium, as well as other types of beans. All right, you guys, and don't forget about your almonds. All right, almonds are a great source of magnesium as well. So that's all we got for you today. Let's say hi to the people and get out of here. Who do we got? Haley, what's going on? Monty's Python, some OGs here. That's another real OG. And what's up, baby? Thanks for hopping on, brother. I hope you're having a great time on that road trip. Hope you're enjoying it. Good to see you on here. Danny Kip, what's up, baby? Let's go. That's right. I love you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for hopping on. Hope you're having a great day today. I hope the rest of you are having a great day today, too. Kate Paul, how you doing? I think the first time seeing you on here. It's good to see you on here. And I hope you get something good and useful and applicable to your life and improving your own health from this video and the other videos we have here at Wend Wellness, whether it be with nutrition or exercise, right? Or just mindset in general. Not that ours is the best, but we try to help out as much as we can, Thank you very much. Fantastic discussion. Say bye to JMO. JMO. Yeah, say bye, buddy. Yeah, he's a good boy. We'll see you later. I got to stop him from licking the inside of my ear. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And we'll see you tomorrow, folks. I'm full of slobber. Thanks a lot, guys.